morning. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today, and I'd like to extend a very special welcome to EPA Administrator Michael Regan for visiting our beautiful city. We've been hearing for several years now about how St. Louis is the new hub in the Midwest for innovation. But I beg to differ. We've always been home to brilliant minds at the forefront of innovation, and we really don't have to look any further than our drinking water. In 1904, chemist and water department employee John Wixford introduced a brilliant new process which used massive levels of milk of lime to remove sediment from the muddy Mississippi to produce delicious tasting water just in time for the World's Fair. Fast forward an entire century later to the U.S. Conference of Mayors, which declared St. Louis's water as the best tasting water in the country, a distinction that St. Louisans still like to brag about today. Today, we have yet another chance for innovation. President Biden's American Jobs Plan will bring much-needed upgrades to St. Louis's water infrastructure with innovative and efficient new technologies, delivering fresh drinking water to our children and communities of color who have suffered decades of intentional disinvestment, and creating quality jobs with fair wages for people throughout the St. Louis region. And hey, we get to keep our bragging rights too. So thank you to Minister Regan for joining us today, as well as Congresswoman Bush. And we look forward to working with you to bring St. Louis's water infrastructure into the 21st century. Now at this time, I'd like to turn it over to our Director of Public Utilities, Mr. Kurt Skouby.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor. Good morning. Welcome to the historic Chain of Rocks water treatment plant. St. Louis is blessed with abundant, safe, good, great tasting water. It takes a lot of dedicated employees to provide the quality water that comes out of our taps. And we take a great pride in the water that we produce. However, the water treatment plants and the water distribution infrastructure we rely on to treat and deliver water is old and in need of attention. In fact, we have identified over $400 million worth of needed water plant and water infrastructure improvement to maintain our system. The average age of our 2 treatment plants is 100 years. Despite the system age, it is still delivering high quality water to our customers. We have never had a water quality violation in our existence, and we've been operating since 1835. This cannot continue indefinitely unless the system needs are funded. The majority of this distribution system is 80+ years old and needs upgrades to ensure the system's integrity. The system has 1,300 miles of water mains, 26,000 valves, 15,000 fire hydrants in our distribution system. Without this funding, the system integrity will decline, and increase the failures of our system will undoubtedly increase. In addition, the American Jobs Plan has provisions to help our community to replace tens of thousands of lead service lines that exist today. While the city has done a good job maintaining water quality, it's simply time for the lead lines to be gone. Reinvestment in our water system will keep it safe, reliable, and resilient. While the needed investment is large, the investment is long-term and critical. These investments will not only benefit us today, but they will benefit our children, grandchildren, and great-grandchildren. The American Jobs Plan, with its provisions to help address our water system needs, is critical to our city. St. Louis stands to benefit greatly with the passage of the American Jobs Plan. I stand in support of this effort and offer my sincere thanks to the EPA, to the EPA Administrator Michael Regan, Congresswoman Cori Bush, and Mayor Tishaura Jones, and their collective effort to address these problems at this time. Thank you.
Hello. Thank you, Mayor Jones, for welcoming me to your beautiful city. And congratulations on becoming the first Black woman to be sworn in as mayor of St. Louis. We're all excited about your focus on equity and especially environmental justice and equity. I'm also proud to say that the mayor and I are proud alumni of HBCUs. And thank you, Congresswoman Bush, for joining me today and your leadership to elevate the issues that are near and dear to us at EPA. Here in St. Louis, we see a prime example of what water infrastructure means to communities. And we see the need to replace and upgrade water infrastructure as a revitalization opportunity for communities to move into the next century. At EPA, we are committed to ensuring healthier, more equitable communities through water infrastructure investments. And we're excited about the opportunities that the President's American Jobs Plans provides to present us with an opportunity to fulfill that mission. The historic Chain of Rocks water treatment plant underscores exactly why we need to invest in our aging water infrastructure across this country. While the decade-old structure and equipment still provide safe, quality drinking water, Kurt and others tell me that there are costly upgrades needed to ensure that St. Louis can continue to rely on safe drinking water from this facility. We also know that water infrastructure investments are needed in the ground in neighborhoods across the city to replace water mains and remove thousands of harmful lead pipes that can contaminate drinking water. These actions are essential to strengthening the integrity of our drinking water in this great city and across the country. But at EPA, we've demonstrated how investing in water infrastructure can improve public health, close the water equity gap, and create thousands of jobs. In the last 2 years, EPA's Drinking Water and Clean Water State Revolving Loan Funds have provided over $20 billion to support water infrastructure, which is estimated to have created over 300,000 jobs. And our WIFIA loan program has provided over $9 billion to help finance water infrastructure projects while creating approximately 49,000 jobs, saving communities over $4 billion. President Biden's Americans Jobs Plan would build on these successes by proposing an unprecedented $111 billion to revitalize drinking water, wastewater, and stormwater systems, tackle new emerging contaminants, and support clean water infrastructure across America. An investment of this scale and scope could create nearly 2 million good-paying jobs all across this country. The plan also calls for removing 100% of lead pipes like those lurking underground here in St. Louis and plague too many of our American communities, many of which are communities of color and low income. But we can put Americans to work by delivering on the saving from health threats and environmental justice to communities that have borne the brunt of these disproportionate impacts for far too long. The more time I spend with water utility operators and workers like Kurt, who do heroic work every day, the more I understand how urgent the President's plan is. Investing in water is one of the best decisions we can make as a nation. So thank you again to the City of St. Louis for your hospitality. And now it's my pleasure to introduce Congresswoman Cori Bush.
All right. Let's see. I don't know. Well, I tell you, St. Louis is like, you know what? You're going to always have to fight for us. And I'm sitting here fighting with the wasp, but we're going to keep them alive, but still got to fight. You see, my dear sister came to my rescue, always working together. That's who St. Louis is, and you got to see it in living color. So, hello everyone, and thank you so much for being here. I am so honored to join my dear friend, Mayor Tishaura Jones, and our City Director of Public Utilities, Kurt Skouby, in extending a heartfelt welcome from St. Louis and to the Administrator, Regan, and his team. Administrator Regan, I also want to thank you 100%. Thank you for your work and the work that we've already been able to do together. Since before this visit, the EPA team has engaged thoughtfully in conversations with my team and I about the needs, the urgent needs of St. Louis and our environmental justice needs. We thank you, and we look forward to much more work together. The fact that you are here in St. Louis in the first months of your tenure is a testament to the renewed focus this administration and the EPA in particular are putting on environmental justice in communities that need it the most. It's a testament to the long-time organizing and advocacy of groups like Just Moms, STL, and so many others. It's also a testament to the unique challenges we face across Missouri's 1st District. Challenges like striving to maintain the safety of our Chain of Rocks water treatment facility, which we toured today and has been in service for over 125 years. Here in St. Louis, we are facing an onslaught of environmental racism every day. And let me say that again. We're facing an onslaught of environmental racism every single day, from rising temperatures to police murder, to high utility burdens, to unconscionable nuclear waste. We have seen far too much already, and we know the cost of living in harmful and lethal environments. We cannot wait for justice. So we are urgently trying to save lives, and we're trying to do that now. We need resources. We need tools. We need data sets and projects, renewable power, and so much more to deliver for this, our community. With that in mind, the American Jobs Plan is off to a great start. Numerous proposals in the plan reflect the president's dedication to delivering on an agenda that is rooted in racial equity and environmental justice for communities like ours. Proposals like comprehensive lead pipe replacement and restoring wetlands and water sources, investments in water efficiency programs. These long overdue investments will help prevent future water crises that are happening already or those that are on the verge of happening in communities all across our country, like the ones still being endured by the incredible people in Flint. We welcome the path that the jobs plan has laid out, and we are excited to work with the administration to commit even more. The climate crisis is among the biggest threats to clean and safe water through impacts such as contamination, uneven precipitation, and destabilized ecosystems. We need even more ambitious climate investments in line with our federal government spending after the Great Depression and during World War II. The threats we are facing are to the very systems that provide the air we breathe and the water we drink, the land we walk on and the sun we soak in. We need to pass the American Jobs Plan. We need to implement the plan as quickly and as humanly as possible. And we need to build on this proposal in size and in scope to emphasize even more robust focus on climate justice. Climate justice, I said. We need to make every effort to create jobs while reducing and eliminating greenhouse gas emissions. I'm looking forward to working with the Biden administration to ensure that we massively install wind, solar, and geothermal energy. We need renewable power and energy jobs, and we need them now. My team and I have been hard at work on building towards a future free of fossil fuels. In January, I partnered with Senator Markey to introduce the Environmental Justice Mapping and Data Collection Act. Our bill would fund an interagency environmental justice mapping committee to gather, to organize, and visualize data on environmental racism and better direct resources to communities that need it the most. The better our data are on water injustice, the better we can address it. And just 2 weeks ago, I introduced the Green New Deal for Cities, which would fund climate and environmental justice jobs in every community in our country. Just as the American Rescue Plan funded local governments to fight the pandemic and economic crisis, this bill would add community climate funding to the conversation to uplift local climate action. The Green New Deal for Cities would uplift water justice in every community through measures such as electrifying water heating, making utilities public, and expanding water quality testing, replacing lead water pipes, and funding water conservation projects on farms. The urgency of this crisis demands that we act swiftly, that we act boldly. We cannot wait when it comes to protecting our communities and saving lives. Thank you, and I look forward to our continued work.